Hello, Contrarians listeners. This is Kinsey from the Zero Dark 30 episode, here to do Alex and Julio a solid. They were in such an anniversary high when they recorded this episode, they forgot to thank the festive years for their awesome opening and closing music. The tracks Last Stand and Summer of 1999 from the album Don't Let Me Use You. They also forgot to thank Hans Rothgieser from the Peruvian podcast Nacion Combi for designing the amazing Contrarians logo. You can contact Hans on Twitter at Mildemonios. That's Mildemonios. And you can also email him at mildemonios@hotmail.com. I wasn't told there'd be Spanish on this intro. Anyway, that's all from me. Happy 4th anniversary, guys. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to The Contrarians, where we're right and you're wrong. I'm Alex.
I'm Julio, and thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, head over to Apple Podcasts to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Help promote the algorithm and spread the word.
You can also find us on SoundCloud to subscribe and review, and don't forget to visit our main website, wearethecontrarians.com.
Follow us on Twitter at Contrarian Prime, and to like us on Facebook, visit facebook.com/Contrarian Prime.
And if you have the willpower to keep up with our pretentious ramblings, you can follow us individually at Contrarian Alex for myself and at Ovnio for Julio. That's OVNIO.
Now, time for the podcast. Okay, and we are recording for a very special 4th anniversary episode.
My goodness. It's been a whole 4 years, and here we are, celebrating. Hello, and welcome to the Contrarians' 4th year extravaganza. As we kick off into our 5th year, we've come a fuck ton of a long way since Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, this might have been the year that we watched the most movies.
I think so, because just looking over the list here of eligible candidates and entries, omitted the fucking gargantuan undertaking we had with the Summer of Travolta.
Yeah, I think before we start with the giving out the actual awards, we need to remind the listeners what this entails. What are we covering here?
The past year and the eligible entries, these were all the award season films that are eligible for our awards. Before we go into the movies, I'll say we're going to be giving out the Embrys and the Rouseys, just to explain if you're a first-time listener. The Embry, named after the incomparable Ethan Embry for his performance as Mark in the seminal classic Empire Records.
Yeah, if you've watched Empire Records, then you understand.
Yeah.
This is Ethan Embry giving it his all. Just telling the world, I have arrived. I am Ethan Embry. Hear me roar.
I've decided I'm going to start a band.
Really?
Yeah.
First thing you need is a name. Then you'll know what kind of band you've got.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of thinking about, Mark. What do you think of that?
Is that with a C or with a K?
Well, my name is with the K. So I was thinking maybe my band could be with the C. So that way it's kind of like that psychedelic, trip thing.
So the Embry would signify the fresh red tomato, whereas the nasty green splotch is doled out in the form of the Rousey.
Which used to be the Canny.
It was the Canny,
right?
Named after Scott Conn in Ready to Rumble.
Right. Scott Conn, who looked like he was checking his phone for text in between takes of that movie.
Even were there text messages in 2000? For that, there were.
Yeah, it was his BlackBerry.
But ever since we covered the Entourage movie, the award has been changed, obviously for equality also. But the Rousey, named after Ronda Rousey for her portrayal of Ronda Rousey in the Entourage movie.
Yeah, she might not have been checking her text messages, but she looked completely bored in that movie.
I've had a lot of my personal relationship and feelings on Ronda Rousey have come along quite a bit since her foray into professional wrestling. I think I respect what she's doing now. I think she's really putting a good foot forth, but Jesus, Harold Christ, she is god-awful in that movie.
Is this a date? I don't cook for people trying to pitch me. Whatever. I thought a nice, normal guy wanted to hang out for once.
I did. I do.
No one under 250 pounds ever has the balls to talk to me. I should have known better.
No, it's not like that.
You should go. Just see yourself out, Turtle.
Rhonda, come on.
You should go before I feel like hitting something. I'll call you an Uber. An Uber X, actually.
As an actress in the Entourage movie, she's a great fighter.
Even that, it looks robotic. But those awards, the Embries and the Rouseys, will be given out for supporting actor, supporting actress, lead actor, and of course, film, movie.
Picture.
We'll also picture. We'll also be including the Ruffalo, which will be a new annual tradition for best sex scene.
Yeah.
And the GAD, which is given out, if felt necessary, to a film that you believe through this podcast you've learned has an unfair rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right, like the one that would be the poster child.
Take Me Home
to
Tonight?
The Contrarians. Exactly.
Okay.
Take Me Home Tonight.
From year one.
But it's the GAD, because just like Josh Gad, it's a movie that you may underestimate based on what the critics say, but then once you actually experience it, you go, no, this is great.
So
last year, the GAD was awarded to Bewitched.
Oh, what a hell of a film.
Yeah, we both agreed. It was just unanimous decision. Now, the Ruffalo, because we haven't awarded it before, and this is based on Mark Ruffalo's stunning sex scenes in The Kids Are Alright, the Ruffalo will actually be, we consider our entire catalog for the Ruffalo this time.
Yes. So this will be all 4 years of the Contrarians eligible for best coital scene.
Well, it's not just best sex scene. It has to be a sex scene that just took us aback.
Okay.
That shook us to our core.
With big old sweaty Tim Robbins in the player.
Hey, I'm not gonna tell you. Gotta wait and see.
So those eligible for the aforementioned awards will be Loser, Home for the Holidays, Big, Cloud Atlas, Mixed Nuts, 200 Cigarettes, Sing Street, Righteous Kill, American Hustle, Tank Girl, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Catch and Release, Man on the Moon, Chasing Amy, so to speak, Donnie Brasco, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the 1992 theatrical release, The Mummy, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Granted, we did not do a traditional Contrarians episode on it, but our first commentary track, but we felt it was deemed worthy of being included.
We watched it. We experienced it.
We did. And lastly, of course, The Kids Are All Right.
I think it's funny that you felt the need to give us the year Buffy, but you did not clarify. We're talking about The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy, not the Tom Cruise Mummy.
You got to keep them guessing. Nor the Mummy from the fucking 30s.
No Boris Karloff. Is it Karloff that's the Mummy? I don't know. I've never watched it.
Those old Universal monster movies, unfortunately, kind of all blend together for me.
It's
I do love Frankenstein.
Bela
No, Carlos
Lugosi.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
It's the
Bela
Mummy.
Lugosi's Dracula. I do know that. Okay, so
don't you feel like it was ages ago that we did Cloud Atlas? When I was going
Yes.
through the list, I was like, man, that was so long ago. The Summer of Travolta really did a number on us as far as time.
yes, let's do just like the Academy Awards do. Let's start with the supporting actor.
Okay.
So we'll start off with the Rousey for supporting actor. So layman's terms, worst supporting actor. I have two runners-up and the actual award recipient for this. My two runners-up are going to be Donald Sutherland for Buffy. Listen to the episode. We break down exactly why he's so bad in that.
He might be the least favorite thing we have in that movie.
50 Cent in Righteous Kill, because he's just...
How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
He gave it his all in that death scene.
I've seen him in things since then that I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fine. But that one, he was a bit ripe, or he wasn't ripe yet, excuse me. And then the Rousey for worst supporting actor goes to Paul Rudd for 200 Cigarettes.
Those sideburns didn't do it for you?
When I was going through this, I just, like, all I could think of were his lines of dialogue in that and how they were delivered. And God knows I love Paul Rudd. But, man, when I think back to that movie, when you think of this may come back up, he's one of the worst things in that movie.
In a movie that has very few good things.
Yes.
The fight for what's the worst in 200 Cigarettes is, well, I guess Paul Rudd has the lead now.
That's just great. That's perfect. Yeah. Look at fantastic.
It's Ellie.
Yeah, that's Ellie. Mad woman. She knew I'd be here, so she deliberately put these up. Well, you know what? It's not gonna work, Ellie. It's not gonna work because I'm doing just fine without you.
Yeah, Kevin, you're doing just great.
Fuck. Oh. Ow!
Julio, in the category of supporting actor.
Supporting actor for the Rouseys. So I also have 200 Cigarettes all in here as one of my runners-up. It's Elvis Costello.
Aww.
Listen, especially now that we've changed it to the Rousey, what is lazier than playing yourself in a movie and doing it badly? Elvis Costello shows up for the minimum screen time that you can have, and he is barely memorable. Like, I can't even... Was he hooking up with Janine Garofalo? Is that what happens at the end?
Yeah.
He has like one shot, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe we hear him sing. It's like, no, you need to do better.
Again, in a movie riddled with bad things.
Right. He stands out because it's Elvis Costello, so he should know better than this.
Yeah.
He was not a struggling actor trying to break in, like most of the people in there. Also, much along the same lines, David Letterman in Man on the Moon.
Oh, boo.
Playing
Hiss.
himself.
Throwing cups at you
He
right now.
didn't even want to change the way he looked. He was like, I will not play along. I am David Letterman. I only have an hour before I have to go shoot my show.
Reading about that made me love him even more.
I love him as an audience member and a Letterman fan. As a movie maker, I would be furious.
And it also like derails the like
The narrative.
consistency of the movie.
Yeah. But there was much worse. And it's someone that you already mentioned.
Oh, you gave the Rousey to Donald.
Oh yeah, Donald Sutherland, man. He is at least Costello and Letterman are not professional actors, so you could almost forgive them for not knowing how offensive it is to slum it.
Mm-hmm.
But Sutherland has a career. He's a respected actor, and he already was like an actor, capital A actor, when he did Buffy.
Yeah.
You could say maybe he was the most experienced dude there, other than bad guy.
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer, right? But
Luke Perry.
well, we're not counting TV hours. This is just film. But yeah, he just sucks. He doesn't just suck. He sucks the life out of the movie every time he's in there. So
that scene where he's like talking to Christy Swanson in the gymnasium at the high school, like takes all the wind out of the movie.
It's just like you just go into this black hole and time slows down.
When are they gonna get to the fireworks factory?
My name is Merrick, and you have been chosen, Buffy.
Chosen to go to the graveyard. Why don't you just take the first runner-up, okay?
Everything depends on you, Buffy. Now, you must come with me now to the graveyard while there's still time.
Time to do what?
Time to stop the killing. To stop the vampires.
It's so bad. So my Rousey goes to Donald Sutherland for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I respect it. So, sticking with the Rouseys, we're going to go to the worst supporting actress category. You know, when I started this, I had Wendy Kaplan down for the role of Tina in Halloween 5.
Why am I not surprised?
But then, I got thinking about it, and the role of Tina, and you could tell when we were watching that how much glee me and Reed take in, like, quoting her lines and watching her. Tina has become one of the more infamous and most hated characters in slasher film history, but goddammit, she serves a purpose. For that reason, I will be omitting Wendy Kaplan as Tina from Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, from the Rousey's first supporting actress. That being said, my two runners-up. Number 1, Courtney Love in 200 Cigarettes.
So, is it a matter of Paul Rudd bringing her down? Was she bringing Paul Rudd down?
I think
Did
I
they
may
bring
have
each
said
other
this
down?
on the 200 Cigarettes episode, that I want to see them in that situation in a better movie with better writing.
Or just in real life?
Yeah, well. Second runner-up. Back to the scene of the crime. It's Christina Ricci from 200 Cigarettes.
You can just give the Rouseys to 200 Cigarettes, just pick an actor for each category.
But like Paul Rudd, I said, I think how bad he is. When I think of that movie and the things that annoy me about it, it's Christina Ricci and her stupid New York accent that she has and her stupid story arc with Casey Affleck. And yeah, but it all pales in comparison to the recipient of the Rousey for supporting actress, and that goes to an Oscar-nominated performance by Jennifer Lawrence in American Hustle. I mean, the bit has been stretched thin to the point of almost being transparent. But when we rewatch that movie, nothing on this planet will ever justify the live and let die scene. I can't do it. And also on top of that, we watched it. When she has moments, she's bad. When she doesn't have moments, she's not doing anything. So it's like this entirely overstated performance. And I like Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's a great actress and a really likable person. But no, she will take home the Rousey.
Don't make such a big deal. Just get another one.
I don't want another one. I want the one that Carmine gave me.
Oh, Carmine. I want the one that Carmine gave me. Carmine. Why don't you just marry Carmine? Get a little gold microwave and put it on a chain around your neck. You want to be more like Carmine? Why don't you build something like he does? Instead of all your empty deals, it's just like your fucking science oven. You know, I read that it takes all of the nutrition out of our food. It's empty, just like your deals. Empty.
That's bullshit.
It's not bullshit. I read it in an article. Look, by Paul Berdure. Bring something into this house that's gonna take all the nutrition out of our food and then light our house on fire? Thank God for me.
I knew that you were gonna. I was thinking, there's no way that Alex does not give the Rousey to Jennifer Lawrence and American Hustle, so I didn't even put her on my options.
Fair enough.
But I do have somebody from 200 Cigarettes.
Outstanding.
I went with Martha Plimpton.
Oh, wow.
Because
we're hitting this from all angles.
Dude, when I think of what's the most boring subplot, and not that any of them were particularly captivating, but I think that my heart sank a little deeper whenever we went back to Martha Plimpton and her party, which maybe just on purpose, because the whole point is, well, this party's not happening, right? It's just her, and at some point her and like that dude, but it was just like you and Jennifer Lawrence. I like Martha Plimpton.
Yeah.
But she's not doing anything in this movie. I'm not even sure she's trying. I think they just put Martha Plimpton in a room and they told her, well, improv, because nobody's here.
Yeah.
It's bad. Second runner-up, and you're probably going to be like, who? Carmen Llewellyn from Chasing Amy. She is. This is what I had to do because I didn't have Jennifer Lawrence. I had to dig deep. Carmen Llewellyn she has a bit part, but she always sticks out to me when I watch the movie. She is the girl that Joy Lauren Adams kisses at the gay bar, and then she's with them at the table, and she's like, "I want to dance."
Yeah.
And then because she's so bad compared to everybody else, like performance-wise, it's like, yes, please go dance, so that the actual actors can act.
Get off the screen.
Yeah, it might not be her fault. Maybe Kevin Smith is to blame. You don't put a newbie or an actor that's not seasoned with the 3 stars of your movie.
With the Titans.
The Titans. You have Affleck, Jason Lee, and Joey Lauren Adams. So, yeah, for the brief amount of screen time she has there, she kills the movie for those 10, 15 seconds or whatever. But I have somebody that's a bigger offender, and this is a bigger star. Maybe not as big as yours, but I thought Naomi Watts in Tank Girl. I'm not going to say she slummed it, but she was the complete opposite of Lori Petty. And I'm not saying that Lori Petty was great, but Lori Petty was giving it her all, whereas Naomi Watts was just lost in that movie. She didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
In the movie and in real life, apparently.
This tank, it isn't. Isn't.
What? Come on, just one little adjective will have a whole sentence here. The tank isn't glad. Sad. Mad. Lonely.
It isn't operational.
How do I know you're not lying?
Because if I was lying, your lungs would be full of slime, I guess.
Cool. So we get a new tank.
Wait. Look, nobody gets out of here without a clearance. We're all prisoners here. And if they catch you...
Then don't tell me. They'll take away my TV privileges. I'll live with it.
When you watch the movie, I'm not a fan of any single thing that happens in the movie, any actor, anything. But everything is batshit crazy in there. You have the kangaroos/dogs.
Ice-T.
You have Ice-T. You have Malcolm McDowell playing a cartoonish villain. And then you have Naomi Watts just kind of like being there and being. She's what, jet girl, but she doesn't really have a jet.
No, yeah.
She flies for 5 minutes at the very end.
And Malcolm McDowell's, is the ink on my check dry?
So yeah, I give the Rousey to Naomi Watts. Fine actress, but not in Tank Girl.
Yeah. We'll stick with the supporting category. We'll move on to the Embries for supporting actress. I want to save supporting actor for the last in the category because Julia and I both discussed that it was a crowded field this year. So for supporting actress, the Embry, my runners-up, number 1, both sides of the coin, Courtney Love for Man on the Moon. I thought she was really good on that.
I thought you would say Courtney Love for 200 Cigarettes because half her scenes were pretty good.
Say what you will about Courtney Love, and you would be right when she's put in the proper scenario. I think, especially when it comes to acting, and that movie, which if you listen to our Man on the Moon episode, there's plenty of flaws with it, and I point them out. She's not one of them, and I think she's really good in it.
Yeah, and she doesn't get that much screen time either.
No,
yeah, but she makes an impression. So.
Yeah. Meryl Streep in Fantastic Mr. Fox. I know that we're kind of bending the lines here with acting and voice work, but I think
it's acting.
Well, some people would tell you it's not.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah. There's still people that say the Oscars died the year they nominated Beauty and the Beast for Best Picture because it was an animated film. The novelty of Meryl Streep doing the voiceover in a movie I think is great, but also it's a Wes Anderson movie, so the whole thing's fucking dry and droll, but her approach to the voice of that character, it worked for as much as anything in a Wes Anderson movie can work for me. So I felt it deserved. And she's fucking Meryl Streep. We would be kidding ourselves if she didn't win something. But the Embry for Best Supporting Actress goes to that kooky, crazy Anne Heche in Donnie Brasco. Again, much like Courtney Love in Man on the Moon, doesn't have the most amount of screen time, but when the camera's on her, she steals the spotlight.
She brings it. I agree, because she's one of my runners-up. I always go back to the scene where they finally have it out. When after she slaps him. No, he slaps her, and she just walks away.
Yeah.
Did you ever once ask yourself how I make it through my days? I pretend I'm a widow with medals and scrapbooks and memories. I pretend you're dead. That's how my life makes sense to me. Just go away. Stay away. God, why do you hate me when I love you so much?
She's literally support in the sense that Deb gets all the good lines and all the flashy acting, but she's there and she's matching him stare by stare, basically. Yeah. She's awesome. Also a runner-up, Carla Gugino, because I mean, come on, man, how can you not acknowledge? She barely
did not make the cut. Yeah,
the movie's shit, and that movie is Righteous Kill.
Yes,
but Carla Gugino puts up with a lot in that movie, and while I may question her agent and her for even taking part in it, the truth is she committed.
Yes.
She had sex with De Niro.
Graphic detail.
Yes. So come on, she needs a shout out.
Yeah,
so
I'll go with that.
That's this. My winner, though, the Embry, the Best Supporting Actress, the one actress that just gave it her all in a movie that I didn't like and you didn't like, but there's a reason why you said she's memorable, and that is Wendy Kaplan in Halloween 5.
Oh, God.
You cannot accuse her of not committing to the part.
No.
She is. I think that you watch Halloween 5, and it's impossible not to have her as the main thing you remember from that movie. Everything else might blend together in Halloween movies, but I think, at least out of the ones I've seen, just Tina from Halloween 5, it's just, she stands out.
Yes.
They don't allow Max in here. Yeah, Max. You know what they can do if they can't take a joke. She does make me remember. Is she really better? Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Give me some of this action, baby. What? Uh-huh. Ah, I wonder
what Rachel's hiding behind door number 3. Ba-ba-dum-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. Bum-ba-da-dum-bum-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-da.
She is Ethan Embry in Empire Records.
Unfortunately, it didn't work, but I cannot disagree with what you're saying.
Right.
Because, yeah, if you go to a horror convention, you say Halloween 5, ugh, Tina. That's like immediately what they're going to say. Fair fucks to you, man. Well played, well played. So now moving on to really the Goliath category of this whole thing. Had some difficulties, so I'm going to have a few more runners up, which it'll balance out because there's a few categories I'm a bit light in. But the Embry for Best Supporting Actor. I think we just need to give a perennial, a Lifetime Achievement Award to Al Pacino for both his work in Donnie Brasco and Righteous Kill.
Don't they cancel each other?
They meet somewhere in the middle. It's like when fucking Thor's hammer hit Captain America's shield, like when you run those next to each other. But I mean, mostly for Righteous Kill, just because it's given us the immortal bit of don't. Elsewhere in the Best Supporting Actor category, we have Greg Kinnear for Loser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he's just really slimy and
gross.
Yeah.
Note what you think of when you think of Greg Kinnear.
Exactly. And he pulls it off convincingly. In a movie filled with unconvincing things, he is convincing.
I can buy Greg Kinnear as a creepy professor that takes advantage of his students.
Dave Chappelle in 200 Cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he was young and he hadn't really gotten a big break yet. I mean,
the one good thing in 200 Cigarettes, I think.
Yeah, every scene he has is great. And Half Baked had already come out, but yeah, he was like one of the only people that seemed like he wanted to be there, and his scene's really positive, and like his character was really cool. Dylan McDermott in Home for the Holidays.
I think it's crazy that you go with Dylan McDermott in Home for the Holidays out of that entire cast.
Again, much like Tina, when that movie was over, I could only think about how much of a badass Dylan McDermott was. And the Embry for Best Supporting Actor. We're going back to Man on the Moon here. Paul Giamatti in Man on the Moon.
George, this is my writer and old friend Bob Zmuda.
Hey, George. How are you? I'm Bob.
He's very creative.
Yes, and I am the brains behind this operation.
Yeah, dream on. So. He once faked a lion escaping from the Chicago Zoo.
No, this was fantastic, George. We got like 40 actors, and they're tearing through the zoo, and they're all
Let's
tearing
burn this
through
place down. There's 2 days.
There's a fucking lion!
Your name's not Gorski.
Don't believe everything you hear, George.
I consider him. It was. I mean, that's a stack category.
Yes,
there were so many.
And I have like lines crossed out here and everything. That's what I could whittle it down to. I also originally had Tom Hanks for Cloud Atlas.
Right.
But yeah. So Paul Giamatti. I mean, he's fucking Paul Giamatti. But still, we talked about on our episode for Man on the Moon, especially his reaction scene to the news of Andy having cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
He thinks it's a bit. He gets excited, and then he realizes that it's true.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
Good stuff. I would say Danny DeVito is also someone that I consider and I would bring up the exact same scene where Andy reveals that he has cancer and DeVito just gets angry.
Yeah.
He never buys it for a
funny.
second. Yeah. It's really good stuff. All right, mine. I also had to whittle mine down because almost every movie had at least one awesome male supporting performance.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to say about just what movies do to actresses and the roles that they offer them.
Mm-hmm.
But with that in mind, man, and any of these could get the Embry, so it's even hard to like call them just runners up. But Kevin Smith on Catch and Release.
Excellent.
I think that's just, he brings it. And you could say, well, he's just Kevin Smith most of the movie. No, there's that one scene where he's in the hospital and he actually cries.
Yeah.
And he's talking about his buddy and you can feel the grief. It's just great. And then there's that scene where he almost has sex with Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
That's not Kevin Smith. So that's good. Liev Schreiber, Mixed Nuts. I'm surprised you didn't have him. That's because, you're a bigger fan of the Liev than I am, but yeah, he's playing a transvestite.
Yeah,
dances with Steve Martin.
I need to rewatch that movie just to get a better, because that's what we did with TJ, right?
Right.
Yeah,
it's our last Christmas special.
Yeah, seeing how much he enjoyed it, and it being the first time I watched it, I need to watch it again to kind of let it wash over me.
So you can grasp what the movie was saying about Christmas and transvestites.
Well, unfortunately, the
Adam Sandler.
main thing I took away from it was peak Adam Sandler coming into frame. Ooh,
Diloo. I like jam. But the Embry goes to Dwight Ewell from Chasing Amy. That's Hooper X.
Oh, yeah, I remember the episode. You did have a big old heart on for that dude.
Dude, how can you not love him? He's great, and he has a small part. Every time he's on screen, it's the opposite of Donald Sutherland and Buffy. Every time he's on screen, you're like, yes, and the movie is 10 times better because he's funny. He has a good character, a complex character.
The Lando speech is fantastic.
Lando's speech is iconic.
The black man's no longer going to play the minstrel in the medium of comics and sci-fi fantasy. We keeping it real. And we gonna get respect by any means necessary.
Come on. That's a bunch of horse shit. Lando Calrissian was a black guy, you know. He got to fly the Millennium Falcon. What's the matter with you?
Who said that?
I did. Lando Calrissian is a positive role model in the realm of science fiction fantasy.
Fuck Lando Calrissian, Uncle Tom, nigga. Always some white boy gotta invoke the Holy Trilogy. Bust this. Those movies are about how the white man keeps the brother man down, even in a galaxy far, far away.
But then also later on in the movie when he's just very casually making fun of Affleck for idealizing lesbians and basically pointing out how it's a lot harder for just a black gay dude because, well, this is not sexy. What I am is not sexy, but what Alyssa in the movie is sexy. It's so cool. The entire thing. He's great. It's kind of a shame that, you know, you'd expect that movie would just like shoot him to stardom, right? Because he was so good, but nope. So we'll give him an Embry.
We'll send it in the mail to him. Moving along.
What does an Embry look like? It's just the head of Ethan Embry.
With the raggedy hair from Empire Records. Moving along to the lead category, we'll start with the Rousey for lead actress. I do not have a Rousey to give out for lead actress.
Wow.
I went through all our movies, and you know there were some, as you can see, I had 4 mentions for supporting, but as far as lead goes, I couldn't come up with anything because I have said repeatedly Amy Adams is good in American Hustle, so I couldn't just put that there for the sake of that. So I have nothing. There's no Rousey, to give out for lead actress. Julio, what about yourself?
I have you know, the 3 mentions, and some of them are just me kind of like stretching it just for the fun of it. But I have Meryl Streep for Fantastic Mr. Fox.
My goodness.
Because in my mind, Meryl Streep is great, but if you're putting Meryl Streep in an animated movie, then she can't just be okay. She needs to dominate that movie. And when I walk away from Fantastic Mr. Fox, I don't really think it's Meryl Streep's movie. I think it's George Clooney's movie, mostly.
And smarmy Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, but it's mostly, you know, you think, oh, Fantastic Mr. Fox, the cool Fox, Clooney. And that's kind of like where it ends. She's fine. But when you're Meryl Streep, you can't just be fine. Fine for Meryl Streep is the equivalent of other actors slumming it. So she gets a call out here on the Rousey. Also, Holly Hunter for Home for the Holidays.
Aww.
Again, she's not terrible, but it was just, that said, just gives me the impression it was a little too relaxed in there. She's, especially when she's bantering with Robert Downey Jr. and everything. It was a little too improv. The entire thing was just a little too casual for me to enjoy.
Real quick, kind of going back, one of the last eliminations I had on Best Supporting Actor for the Embry was Steve Guttenberg from Home for the Holidays.
I had Robert Downey Jr. on my list because he goes for it, and that was before he was Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. So it's
like 10
even
years or 13 years before that.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean that's not bad. Now, Alex, I will say that Amy Adams does not do well in American Hustle. So she gets a Rousey for me. Because remember, she has that accent that she keeps dropping.
She does. And she does scream while taking a pee.
Yeah, that is... I mean, if Jennifer Lawrence had more screen time, I would give it to Jennifer Lawrence. But for the amount of screen time that Amy Adams has, she should have done better.
So, why did you do an English accent after that?
I'm sorry I didn't tell you in the stall. I created Edith because I needed her to survive, okay? But I'm done with that now. I'm so done with it. All right, like, you do what you need to survive, right? Like, you do it. You live with your mom. You have a fiance you don't even acknowledge, right? That's what you do. And you curl your hair in little curlers, which is, no, it's okay. You look good with him, but, you have straight hair, so that's what you do to survive. You do all sorts of things, We all do.
I'm glad you had the Lawrence thing built into yours so that we didn't both double team on Amy Adams. But
yeah.
Fear not. There's more coming for American Hustle. Moving along to the Rousey for lead actor, Christian Bale in American Hustle.
Really?
I appreciate his dedication to his craft, but especially this last time we watched it, everything he did annoyed me. I was just thinking back to being in a movie theater watching that, and everything he did, everyone laughed at. It's like, oh, it's so funny. Go fuck yourself.
You could hear Chaz laughing all the way from Australia.
Yeah, slapping his knee. I'll tell you. Runner-up number 2 for lead actor Rousey is going to be Jason Biggs in Loser. Jason Biggs was not meant for this acting world. The people who made American Pie and Saving Silverman figured it out, but anything else outside of that,
it's an enigma. How do you crack this Jason Biggs formula that works so well in certain movies and not so well in other movies?
He can't have any. Yeah, I guess that's the point. And then also,
he can't carry a movie.
After Saving Silverman, it was a spent force. It was just like, all right, we've seen it. But both of these belong in a different galaxy, separate from the winner of the Rousey for lead actor, and that is Sir Robert De Niro in Righteous Kill.
Who do you get this time? You got this Jonathan Van Lyten. He owns a couple of car dealerships. Was up on rape charges, but they got tossed out last week. Look at this.
A man devoid of all respect for beauty, charm, and intellect. He took what women would not give. He didn't have the right to live. It's a boy, all right. Looks like you had a beef with our old pal Johnny.
You know him?
Yeah.
Talk about someone who didn't want to be there, except for the sex scene.
And even then, maybe you could read it as, the shot for the sex scene is kind of far away.
Hate boning us, the audience. Congratulations, Bob.
Here you go. It's been a while since you got an Oscar, but you get a Rousey. Mine, I agree with you about Jason Biggs.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that Loser, I think we said in the episode, it's like, it's an experiment to see if Jason Biggs can carry a movie that has nothing to do with apple pies. Mm-hmm. And the result is no.
Yeah.
He can't.
Or he's not playing the really tepid Jewish character.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not all on Jason Biggs. I think the movie doesn't do him any favors because his character is just bland and wishy-washy and just too nice. But yeah, in the end, it's not like he was trying anything new, right?
No.
It's
and the hair.
That hat.
Jesus, I forgot about the hat.
Also runner-up, I consider Paul Rudd a lead actor in 200 Cigarettes.
Fair enough.
I think that his story with Courtney Love is probably the main story. Yeah. So, and it's Paul Rudd doing Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
Just, come on, man. Elevate the material because you're better than this. And finally, the Rousey, I'm going to have to split it in two because I have a tie.
Oh, no.
But it's a tie from the same movie. It's Pacino and De Niro for Righteous Kill. God, once again, talk about slumming, especially Pacino. But really, when I thought about it, De Niro knows better. These two guys, they've been in masterpieces.
Mm-hmm.
And here, we just saw Pacino and Donnie Brasco, right? He still has it. He can still act. And this is just them playing to their screen personas without bringing anything new to the table.
It's like they cast Robert De Niro to play Robert De Niro.
And Al Pacino to play Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Drop to the ground.
Right now, grease me up, and they actually pay you two morons.
Put the fucking weapon on the
gladly,
ground.
gladly, right there. Right there. Hey, you want to read my poem? Yes. Here, read it.
You tried to set me up, you fucks, and this is how you do it? You thought I'd get my dick cut off. Instead, you only blew it. Great stuff.
What is that shit?
Thank you.
That is poetry.
Two of the greatest actors of their generation, and it's one of the worst movies ever.
It's something else. It swept the Rouseys.
It surprised
in
American
the
Hustle.
acting category. Yeah, and you had 50 Cent, De Niro, and Pacino. De Niro getting it twice over.
Carla Gugino got the
she got
Embry.
it twice over too.
Oh, God.
She did. She balanced it out. Go females. Speaking of which, we're now to the Embry for lead actress. My two runners-up. Number one, we have Julianne Moore in The Kids Are All Right. All my jesting aside about the movie and actual issues with it, my qualms with it, and especially if you've listened to our podcast for the past 4 years, you know I'm not too big of a fan of Julianne Moore, but I think she is the glue that holds that movie together, both from an acting standpoint and also, of course, a story standpoint. So wanted to call that out. Kind of went back and forth with these, but for my second runner-up, I'm going to give it to Elizabeth Perkins in Big.
Nice.
Just, have you seen Big?
She is, I mean, it'd been a while since I'd seen Big, and then we watched it, and I knew a lot of things were awesome in that movie, but I'd forgotten how good she was.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I consider her.
And then for the Embry, going in the vein of what the Embry stands for, and not necessarily a great movie, but someone who went for it, giving it their all for the movie. I'm giving the Embry for Best Lead Actress to Jennifer Garner in Catch and Release.
Aw.
I mean, if you listen to that episode, I know I gushed at length about my affinity for Jennifer Garner, and especially if you listen to our Juno episode, you know how much I loved her in that movie. I think some of the stuff she does sometimes falls flat, and that movie kind of as a whole to me fell flat, but it certainly wasn't from a lack of her effort.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a Jennifer Garner vehicle, and she does justice to the vehicle part, at least. It's the opposite of Jason Biggs, right? It's like she proved that she can carry a movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure she had done it before. There's no way that was her first. But there's no Elektra either.
I think that was the follow-up to Elektra.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken. Or
It's
they might have come out the same year.
Nice bounce back, I
Yeah.
think.
Agreed.
I steal library books. On purpose. I have them from every town I've ever lived in. I can't control it. Brady never knew that about me.
Maureen?
That has wheatgrass in it. Also, I can put my whole fist in my mouth. You don't want to see it. It's a little Tracy Lords, but I never told him that either. 6 years. Also, I love natural disasters. I want people to die in them. I am genuinely disappointed when the death toll is low. And also, I made it with a girl once. And you know what else? You know what Grady never knew about me is that I think catch and release fishermen are heartless weenies. I think putting a fish through agony for nothing more than your own entertainment is just plain cruel. I think if you're gonna torture a living thing, if you're gonna make it look into the eyes of its maker, or face its own, puny little place in the universe, then for God's sake, have the decency to eat it.
All right, lead actress for me. I have, once again, I'm going to make you go, I need to rewatch that movie. Rita Wilson in Mixed Nuts. I think that's the closest that I've seen Rita Wilson in a lead performance, and I thought she was great. She went toe-to-toe with Steve Martin and survived. She's funny, not over-the-top funny, but for the few things I know Rita Wilson for, this was, to me, kind of a revelation to see that, why isn't she in more movies? She's actually really good. Also, I mentioned her earlier, Lori Petty in Tank Girl. Hate the movie. You cannot say that she did not give it her all.
No.
Out of everybody in the cast, including the people dressed as kangaroos, she is just 1,000%.
Yeah.
Right? She really went for it, and it may annoy the hell out of you, but at least she was earning her paycheck every day.
Yeah, she was the last one that got the cut from me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she got it mentioned.
There you go. But what happens when you give it your all and it works?
Oh, no.
That is Rachel Weisz in The Mummy.
Okay.
And You could say I'm biased. I'm in love with Rachel.
Should have
Weisz.
seen it coming.
Yeah, but you know what? She is great.
She is. She's really good.
She's the best part of the movie. This time when I watched it, it's not just that she's such an attractive woman, but she's also just really funny. Her comedic timing here, and maybe I can appreciate it even more because I've seen her in so many dramas. So to see her just play kind of like a silly, not even like a damsel in distress role, but female sidekick role, and not be completely overshadowed by Brendan Fraser. It's just so good. She's great.
Let me get this straight. They ripped out your guts and they stuffed them in jars.
And then they take out your heart as well. Oh, and you know how they took out your brains?
Evie, I don't think we need to know this.
They take a sharp, red-hot poker, stick it up your nose, scramble things about a bit, and then rip it all out through your nostrils.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
It's called mummification. You'll be dead when they...
Easily best part of the movie. So she gets an embry.
She does.
An Ethan Embry head.
I am going to update her Wikipedia page tomorrow.
Please.
That'd be great. Because they don't monitor them.
Right.
How long it could be on
how
there.
How long it can take until
someone caught it.
They Google, what is an embry? It's just going to skyrocket. It's going to start trending.
It's just Oscars with our heads on it. Okay, so now wrapping up the acting categories, we have the Embry for lead actor, starting with my two runners-up. Mark Ruffalo and The Kids Are All Right. And again, for a movie that I had so many issues with and vented those, I felt making good points in our Kids Are All Right episode. At no point in time do I even pretend or act like Mark Ruffalo isn't fucking fantastic in that movie.
This year, we named that award after him in that movie.
That's right.
That's a guy that did his homework.
It's true. Second runner-up, and of course, lightning bolt for controversy these days, but doesn't change the fact that he was fucking incredible in Donnie Brasco, and that's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Just absolutely outstanding. When we watch that, and if you listen to the episode, we talk about it's a shame he became what he did, because he was like one of the best to do it when he did it.
Yeah, that is... You watch Donnie Brasco, and then you look at the last 5-10 movies he's done? I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers. But, when I think
pretty much everything since the first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. And when Pirates came out, you would have given him the Embry there for Jack Sparrow that year, right?
Yeah.
Man, that Johnny Depp, what can't he do? Move on from Jack Sparrow, apparently. I totally agree with that. He was great. Not on my list, though.
That's fair. To me, there was no competition, though, for who would take home the Embry for Best Actor. He's become one of the more beloved actors of all times, but especially when you put yourself in the time frame and the role. You want to talk about someone who gave it their all and it fucking worked? That would be Josh Baskins himself, Tom Hanks in Big.
Bravo. Clap, 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 clap. I have it on my runners-up. So.
All right. I mean, when we watched that, it was one of the few episodes where while watching the movie, we were literally doubled over laughing at shit that was happening, and also just how well he nails the emotional notes in that. It's easy to see why he got nominated for an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not much more you can say about it.
Oh! The space goes down, down, baby, down, down the roller coaster. Sweet, sweet, baby, sweet, sweet, don't let me go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, rock. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, rock. I met a girlfriend, a Triscuit. She said a Triscuit, a biscuit, ice cream, soda, pop, ooh, Charlene, walking down the street, 10 times a week. I met it, I said it, I stole my mama's credit. I'm cool, I'm hot, sock you in the stomach 3 more times.
But it takes talent, especially because he has the easy part in a way. You could say, well, it's a guy playing a kid, right? And so that's easy. He doesn't have to go the extra mile and be super good at it because just the concept is funny. But no, he nails it over and over. So it's just so good. I have him as one of my runners-up. Other runner-up, Jim Carrey for Man on the Moon.
Fair enough.
I think that he gave you a Jim Carrey that was recognizably Jim Carrey, while also much darker than the usual Jim Carrey stuff. This is a darker Jim Carrey that works as opposed to, let's say, Cable Guy. But it's the right mix of him being silly with him being sad and just introspective and also an enigma, which it's great. I like the movie more than you did, but I think we both agreed on him being just great.
Oh yeah.
And now for my Embry, I give it to your winner and one of my runners-up, Tom Hanks for Cloud Atlas. Because I think that he's enough in that movie that I would call him a lead.
Yeah, that was a bit difficult. I almost had Jim Sturgis for the Rousey for supporting actor. But, yeah, that's fair because, God, that's such a convoluted movie.
But that is Hanks how many years after Big, and he's still bringing it, right? He's just not just the crazy prosthetics with the teeth and the nose, but also just in something quieter, like his supporting part in the 70s Story with Halle Berry. He's just like, what, 1 scene, 2 scenes, and he has that connection with her, and then he dies. He's great. I think
one where he's the crazy Australian author that throws Curtis out the window.
I don't give a fuck what happens when I'm dead. I want people to buy me book now.
Well, as your publisher, obviously nothing would make me happier. But sadly, for whatever reason, Knuckle Sandwich has yet to connect to its audience.
You want a reason? I'll give you a reason. Right there.
Ah, you mean Mr. Finch?
Felix fucking Finch. The cunt that shat all over me book in this fancy fucking magazine.
It wasn't that bad.
No! Mr. Huggins should apologize to the trees felled for the making of his bloated autobiography novel. 400 vainglorious pages expire at an ending that is flat and inane beyond belief.
So the GAD Award, I went down the list here, and I didn't disagree with any of these rankings. I think the ones that were perceived as good, I found good. And the ones that were perceived as bad, I perceived as bad. And, of course, this one is for a positive award.
Well, I mean, yes, because you don't want to call it the GAD and then take a movie like American Hustle, which is good. And
obviously, that would win the GAD if we were doing some sort of negative GAD.
The negative GAD, the bizarro GAD.
The not GAD.
Ungad.
Ungad. So what was your GAD?
Mixed Nuts, man. You need to rewatch it. We had a great time watching it.
Yeah.
It's like...
I think it was in the 20s.
Yeah, it's Take Me Home Tonight low.
Okay.
Bewitched low. And it's not...
Yeah, I do need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's not a great movie, but we had a great time. It's definitely not what I would call a rotten movie or, those ads that would go, this movie is rotten. Don't watch it.
The critics put the hit out.
To me, Mixed Nuts was the discovery, the pleasant discovery on this contrarian season, this 4th year of ours. The movie I can go, Rotten Tomatoes was telling me, don't watch this movie, and we watched it, and it was great.
Hello, this is Lifesavers. Merry Christmas. How may I help you?
I have only 2 months to live.
I'm so sorry, sir. Everyone at Lifesavers is with you.
May I speak to a woman?
Hello, Merry Christmas, if it's all right to say that.
What's your name?
Catherine?
I want to ravish you like a wild animal.
Now stop it right this minute. We can't have that sort of thing.
Philip's job is solving other people's problems.
May I put you on hold while I run to my desk? You're not calling from a bridge or holding a weapon?
No.
Good.
But unfortunately, he's got problems of his own.
I don't know how to say this. My psychiatrist thinks we should break up.
I didn't know you were going to a psychiatrist.
Well, I'm not actually going to one. I've been dating one for 4 months.
And now it's Christmas.
Can we show a little Christmas spirit around here?
Merry Christmas!
Somebody's not in the holiday mood, I guess.
I will rewatch it this holiday season. Putting it on the docket now.
There you
go. Moving along before we get to the biggin, the Ruffalo Award.
The new addition to the family.
The new addition for...
Is it a naked Mark Ruffalo? Like the statue is a naked Mark Ruffalo?
It's the naked Mark Ruffalo holding an Oscar in front of his junk. So,
you can't tell where the Oscar ends and his junk begins.
Of course, the Ruffalo given out for best sex scene. This one encompassing our entire run. Obviously, it'd be too cliche to give it to Mark Ruffalo.
Right, no.
And Julianne Moore for their spellbinding performance. So going through it, I mentioned Big Sweaty Tim Robbins and The Player. But to me, when going back through it, in any type of sexual activity scene from any movie, the most memorable to me, Swordfish.
Oh, holy shit. I didn't even think about that.
The fellatio-inspired hacking. Just because it's so stupid. It's so over the top. Hugh Jackman is incredible during it. And John Travolta is also incredible during it.
Now, I have been told that the best crackers in the world can do this in 60 minutes. Unfortunately, I need someone who can do it in 60 seconds.
You're kidding.
Afraid not. Go! Get up. 55. Get on with it. What the hell is this? Time's a wasting, big guy.
That is amazing. I didn't even think about it.
The hack blowy.
The hack blowy. Bravo. That is good thinking. I'm glad that you gave it an award because I completely whizzed past it when I was going down the list of stuff.
Did you give it to the Phenomenon intimate shaving scene?
It was tempting, but I didn't think it qualified because it that shook me in a different way, not the same way that the Ruffalo sex scene in
Ruffalo's sex scene was done with just
ooh. No, I have actually a couple runners up, and then my big one. I'm surprised that you didn't even mention, maybe because it's been mentioned so much, Righteous Kill. I mean, it is that kind of.
It would have been too obvious.
Yeah, it is. That's why I had it as a runner-up. We've celebrated that sex scene between De Niro and Carla Gugino so many times since doing that episode.
Like in my mind, it's different than it actually is. In my mind, De Niro's like, and I know that doesn't really happen, but
and you can actually see Carla Gugino because I don't think you can see her in the shot. It's just De Niro and somebody.
Pounding a melon.
I think that maybe a requisite of the Ruffalo is that the scene has to be gifable, right? which yours perfectly. I mean, there is a gif of Hugh Jackman getting blown.
When he
in
claps his hands and tries to wake himself up.
Yeah, and then you can definitely get a gif. I mean, you can make a gif. I haven't seen one there of De Niro having sex in Righteous Kill.
Yes.
I don't know if you can get a GIF, but you could probably make one of my other runner-up, which is Alison Brie in Glow. Remember we watched the Glow pilot? And suddenly, halfway through the episode, out of nowhere, there's this sex scene that is pretty graphic. I mean, I was not expecting to see... It was shocking, right? Because you're not... Alison Brie is like your little sister from Community.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, it's her and the dude from Mad Men, and they're both naked in a graphic
Alex
sex scene.
from The Office.
Yes.
And the guy who does the voice of Henry in the video game Firewatch.
That guy. It was just the same thing where it just throws you off. Like Mark Ruffalo having sex with Julianne Moore in such an explicit, passionate, intense manner. That was the same thing. I was not expecting that in a show about female wrestling. I don't know why. I don't know what I was expecting, but definitely not that. And then I will give it to... You kind of ruined my moment, though. It's The Player.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Tim Robbins and who was the girl? I don't know.
All I remember is big sweaty Tim Robbins.
Yeah, Tim Robbins on top of a woman, and he's
pumping and sweating.
He's confessing to a murder, and also just having just awkward, sweaty sex in a close-up.
Greta Scacchi, June
makes sense.
Yeah. Fred Ward.
It was not Fred Ward, but that would have gotten also a nod. Fred Ward and Tim Robbins for The Player.
For The Player. I wish I knew how to quit you.
I murder her.
I know. All right, so getting down to the meat and potatoes here. We're at the main course of this Contrarian's fourth-year award show. And that brings us to, obviously, the Embry and the Rousey for movie, film, picture, moving picture, motion picture. So, the Rousey, I got 2 for this, because for all the faults of, like, Tank Girl, and even my foibles with, like, Cloud Atlas and things like that, it's not enough for me to declare it a Rousey-worthy film. Because Tank Girl was just a colossal swing and a miss, and obviously something that like the ball was dropped to the production staff. But at least with one performance, it was coming from a good place, so much so that it sucked it out of the Rousey pool.
Yeah, no. I think that, save for Naomi Watts, who got my Rousey, generally you can't say that production was lazy. And I always fall back on lazy when I think of the Rouseys, just like I did before with the Connies. You know, who's... just that sense of, wow, they don't really care.
No.
They're just here for the paycheck.
And then I was torn on which one would actually get the Rousey here. So the runner-up is going to 200 Cigarettes. As you couldn't tell.
Did I know who your winner is?
If we couldn't tell already, we don't like 200 Cigarettes. But
was that a movie, one of those movies where you suggested we do it, and then it was so much worse when we watched it?
Exactly.
Okay.
I was like, hey, let's do 200 cigarettes for our New Year's episode. And we're watching like, fuck. But my aforementioned Embry that went to Dave Chappelle, or the nomination rather for Dave Chappelle for that, came because his performance and his input in that comes from a good place of non-laziness, of effort, and not lowest common denominator. So because of that, I couldn't give it the Rousey proper. The Rousey proper goes to American Hustle.
Of course it does. Mine doesn't go to American Hustle, but I knew you would.
I honestly, out of all these movies on the list, I don't remember watching one that frustrated me as much as American Hustle. I really don't care for that movie. All the green splotches I'm throwing its way right now. Trying to bring that 93% down a little bit.
I put out the fire. The fire is out.
First time in my life I do the right thing.
Oh, shut up.
No.
Shut up.
Save a young single mother and a kid. I marry her. I adopt them.
You fell in love. Don't you dare forget that part. We fell madly in love.
Yes, I fell in love. My God, I fell in love. But you know what? I thought you were mysterious like my mother until it turned out the mysterious just meant depressed, all right? Hard to reach. I mean, I'm dying here. And you need somebody who's going to be quiet, who's going to be shut up. You're young, you're beautiful. You got to find somebody else. You got to go out and get some friends, all right?
I don't like going out. You know that I get anxiety when I have to meet people. You know how hard that is.
You can't just stay in the house with a fucking sun lamp. All right? And I can't, look, I can't trust you with Danny when you the fire and everything. I can't trust
put
to
the
leave you
fire
alone.
out, Irving. There is no fire. Maybe if you were here more, then there wouldn't have been a fire in the first place.
What? There wouldn't have been a fire if I was here.
It's just our friend Russell not even bothering with the screenplay.
No.
Just put on that makeup.
Let's just go. Yeah, let's wear some crazy wigs and clothes and
just have fun. What do you think your character would say right now?
You know, if you want to talk with an accent for like a quarter of the movie, do it.
Would it be cool if you just scream while you're peeing? I mean, just do it this one take. We'll see what you use.
Brett. All right, we're gonna do a Jerry curl. All right, it's gonna be great.
Louis, pull your pants up.
Oh, well, not happy about that one.
All right. So for me, unsurprisingly, 200 cigarettes is also my runner-up.
My God.
The Big Loser tonight.
Who would have thought? I think it's an upset in many ways.
Yeah. The most attention 200 cigarettes has gotten in a decade, if
easily.
Not more. Also runner-up, Halloween 5, because for all the
really
nice things
bad.
I said about Tina, that movie's shit.
Yeah.
I understand why it's fun to watch, but it's just, talk about not caring or caring about the wrong things. I think that the makers of Halloween 5 cared a lot more about Halloween 6 than they did about Halloween 5.
I honestly, when I was watching that, I realized I don't remember the last time I watched that just by myself, like voluntarily. Like, I would love 4, but like, I usually every year when I watch those, I skip around to like the ones that are good, and I don't remember the last time I watched 5, and it was fun watching with y'all. But yeah, to your point, if I was by myself and that came on and I'd never seen it before, I'd turn it off probably 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's just a slog. I mean, it was great because it was the three of us watching and just talking through it, so it was fun. But yeah, no. But even worse, when you just squander awesome resources. Righteous Kill. Come on.
Man.
I've been a cop in the NYPD for over 30 years.
Why'd you become a cop?
Where I come from, it was either a gun and a badge or a hard hat and a hammer.
Between the eyes.
You like carrying a gun?
There's nothing wrong with a little shooting as long as the right people get shot.
What about the badge?
The badge is nice, as long as it comes with a gun.
That is
taking it home.
Yeah. I think it's the awards have been evenly distributed, and we haven't even we didn't plan it.
Yeah.
But yeah, De Niro and Pacino, obviously, they anchored that movie.
I think just in my mind, because there was so much unintentional comedy given from it that.
Yeah, but that is really, they're not even trying.
No.
I mean, the framing device, which falls apart as soon as you think about it for like a second, it's just bad. It's just bad. And I almost wanted to consider Leguizamo and
it's Donnie Wahlberg.
Donnie
right?
Wahlberg, yeah. But I couldn't even remember what they did in the movie because they're just so wasted.
Yeah.
I know they show up and it was funny to say, hey, there they are, but they don't amount to anything.
Yeah.
There's
oh god, yeah, that movie's so bad.
There's like a handful of things that we come back to when we make fun of Righteous Kill, which might delude you into thinking that it's kind of a fun experience to watch, but really no. I mean, we make fun of the sex scene, we make fun of 50 Cent's death, and then we make fun of just how dumb the whole thing is. But really, watching it, there wasn't much more to it.
No.
And again, you have titans like De Niro and Pacino here. So
Literally two of the greatest to ever do it.
Yep. And yeah, no, I'm sorry. They get the Rousey. So they can split this one too with the director. What's his name from 88 Minutes? John Avnet. I think that was it.
God bless. So moving on to the final award of the evening, the Embry for Best Picture, Film, Movie, what have you. In the spirit of the Embry, I do feel the need. I don't know if I would classify this as a runner-up, but more of just an honorable mention. Catch and Release, for the things we said about earlier. The sum of its parts, there are parts of it that don't work and are not good. I still am not crazy about Timothy Olyphant in it, but Jennifer Garner, Juliette Lewis for her little side trek is a lot of fun. Kevin Smith is great as well. And the whole premise of the movie, I feel, is really solid.
Yeah. It's one of my runners up too. So
fair enough.
I agree. It was trying. Yeah. I think that movie tried hard and it had something to say. So
and it came from a place of positivity. So, but to be honest and perfectly fair, when we get to the runner-up and the best movie that we did, it wasn't really even that close, because you want to talk about Titans, Donnie Brasco, fucking fantastic, and we talked about the acting of Pacino. Anne Heche and Johnny Depp earlier. Didn't even mention like fucking Michael Madsen and Paul Giamatti and
yeah, that brief but very distinctive Giamatti cameo.
John, forget about it.
Bruno Kirby.
In number one, Big. For all the things I had already said about it, it's a movie that just somehow gets better with age. And you want to talk about a movie that's the sum of its parts. Great story, but then you plug it in with all this great acting, great writing. It's pretty much a flawless movie, in my opinion. So I think overall, if I had to pick right now the best movie we've done or my favorite movie we've done, probably be Pulp Fiction, but Big would be pretty high up there.
Yes. I still don't get it.
What?
What don't you get, Judge?
Well, there's a million robots that turn into something. And this is a building that turned into a robot. What's fun about playing with a building? That's not any fun.
This is a skyscraper.
Well, couldn't it be like a robot that turns into something like a bug or something?
A bug?
Yeah. Like a big prehistoric insect with maybe like giant claws that could pick up a car and crush it like that.
A prehistoric transformer?
Interesting.
Gentlemen,
So the robot turns into a bug.
Gentlemen,
you should listen
if
to
you
him.
would just...
You've got a very good idea here. The robot turns into a bug.
This is a great idea.
Someone said water bug?
Different sizes and things. And,
Susan,
and
we could do
Scorpion.
ladybugs.
You could have them wreck buildings.
Transformers for girls.
A building isn't Earth, a bug. It moves.
I don't remember where I put it in the ranking that I have on Letterboxd, but it's up there. Definitely a 5-star. So obviously I have Catch and Release as well. And I had to mention Cloud Atlas, which is my personal favorite out of the ones that we've done this past year.
It took 3.5 years for Julio to finally convince me to sit down, spend an entire Saturday watching it. But yeah,
that's the Pulp Fiction Cloud Atlas way of doing things. Where we have to block out a Saturday, and then, but Cloud Atlas, I couldn't really give it to it because you were talking about even if the Wachowskis had not a couple of not great movies before it, they were still the guys that did the original Matrix and Bound, and they had like a third director there, and they had a bunch of big movie stars. It kind of feels wrong to give. They were not like the scrappy underdog trying to impress. They were not Ethan Embry in Empire Records. They were La Paglia in Empire Records. They were the big star.
They were swinging the hammer.
Yes,
they weren't the nail.
So instead, I'm gonna give it to like the scrappy movie that I think was mostly a hit, even though it might not be the best movie we did. But I think Chasing Amy, it just low budget, had a cast that was not made up of stars
at that time,
but it was like really solid actors. Again, it had something to say, and it was just, I think it was Kevin Smith going back to what what made him a breakout in Clerks.
Chasing Amy. What? What did you say? You're chasing Amy.
What do you look so shocked for, man? Fat bastard does this all the time. He thinks just because he don't say anything, it'll have some huge impact when he does open his fucking
Jesus
mouth?
Christ, why don't you shut up? Was yapping all the time. Give me a fucking headache. I went through something like what you're talking about a couple of years ago, this chick named Amy.
When?
A couple of years ago.
But she live in Canada or something? Why don't I remember this?
Bitch, what you don't know about me, I can just about squeeze in the Grand fucking Canyon. Did you know I always wanted to be a dancer in Vegas? Huh? Bet you didn't even know that shit, did you?
Just tell your fucking story so we can get out of here and smoke this.
You know, when you watch a motor, you think like it feels like Mallrats is him just falling back on like, oh well, now I'm gonna just do fart and fart jokes and it's just something a little more traditional. But then Chasing Amy is back to, oh well, now I'm like low budget. I'm gonna try to like do something cool and something a little more unusual. So it shows its age. It has stuff that maybe hasn't aged as well as it could have, but it's still, you can't deny that it's an actual filmmaker trying to do something and really putting it as all, not just him, but his cast and just everybody involved. So except for that actress I called out earlier, the one that, but you know, going back to our boy Hooper X, which I think is great.
And we've mimicked it and mocked it to no certain extent since we watched it, but the whole Chasing Amy, so to speak, scene is
it stuck with you.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's that was like an early movie, and it's just a perfect balance to our last movie of the year, which was The Kids Are Alright. It, you know, both dealing with
the yin to the yang,
a straight man falling for a lesbian woman and wreaking havoc in both of their universes,
ruining everything as men tend to do. All right, the Embries and the Rouseys for year 4 have been doled out. Julio, it's been an enjoyable 4 years, and I look forward to 4 more.
At least 4 more. We'll keep adding categories, so in 4 years it'll be like a 3-hour extravaganza
where we can have like a video, like a live stream of it.
We'll notify the winners in advance so that we can have them give their acceptance speeches.
We'll have Ethan Embry on site. Pay him like $5,000. He'll be all right with it.
I don't think that Ronda Rousey will.
No, she's a bit out of our budget. Nor would she see the humor in it.
No, but maybe, you know, just like we did with Scott Caan had his like 3-year run, or 2-year run. So every couple of years, maybe we recycle the negative one. And
yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Like Rhonda, we want you to give this award out. It's named after you. No. You were really bad in that movie. Come on. All right. But as always, as we do on every episode, we thank y'all for listening, and especially if you've been here for all 4 years, 3, 2, or just 1, or if this is your first time listening to us, try to get like a benchmark for what we do. We appreciate y'all listening to us. So that is year 4 to 4 more and beyond. We want to thank y'all for listening to The Contrarians, where we will continue to be right, you will continue to be wrong, and we'll catch you next time.
That summer of 1999